Hi, I'm Chris Lawrence with Long Story Short. A lot's happened over the last few days, including the evacuation of a busy mall and Dart's CEO stepping down. But first, I want to show you new video of a smash and grab. Dallas police say the suspects plowed a pickup truck right into the store and grabbed what they could. Take a look.
After hearing a huge blast in their neighborhood last Thursday,
I was like, what's happened? And my neighbor's house just blew up. Call 911.
Jacob Saul called 911, springing into action, saving his neighbor he says was trapped in her collapsed home.
I lift the roof, and then I crawl under, and her arm was broken, and they were so burned, I had to grab her by like the armpits, turn her around, and then pull her off the table onto the ground.
Lake Dallas emergency crews rushed to Mosley Street last Thursday. By then, the house in flames, nearly leveled to the ground. Jacob rescuing the woman just in time, sharing this video.
And then once we got across the street, the whole thing just went like torches.
In the lawsuit against Atmos Energy, the homeowner's attorneys say she suffered extensive severe burns over her face and body, broken bones, and wounds from blast projectiles. Even writing in the lawsuit, she is lucky to be alive.
You can see I'm a few houses down from her.
Atmos has allowed some evacuated neighbors like Amanda Hughes back home.
The evening before I was able to come home. It still makes me a little bit nervous.
The impact of the blast, according to the lawsuit, blowing the roof off, sending insulation all over the neighborhood, leveling the walls, and sending wood and other flying debris into the trees. Atmos crews still investigating. Their response to us about the lawsuit saying, our highest priority remains the safety of our employees, our system, and our communities. We are reviewing the matter and will withhold comment.
Once I found out she was stable, I started getting some rest.
Jacob still wanting to return home.
They're saying Friday.
And anxious to learn why his neighbor's house blew up last week. In Lake Dallas, I'm Scoop Jefferson.
Bill Elliott, the former athletic director and football coach here at Salina ISD, is now banned from teaching at public schools in the state of Texas. And this is after the TEA permanently revoked his teaching certificate. The TEA says districts are also prohibited from hiring Elliott in roles that require certification. According to the district, Elliott voluntarily surrendered his educator certificate in lieu of a TEA investigation related to an allegation of misconduct in the mid-1990s. The district says the allegation was reported to the TEA, not the district, and they were not notified about the allegation until after Elliott's resignation. We have not yet been told what that allegation was at this time. In January, Elliott stepped down from his position amid scandalous allegations surrounding his son, Caleb Elliott, who is facing multiple criminal sex crime charges. I spoke with Terry Miller, president of NC Sesame, a national organization that works to end abuse in schools.
For his license being revoked and not knowing what those reasons are leads me to the conclusion that they were severe enough that the TEA revoked his license.
And the TEA has also placed Elliott on its do not hire registry. Of course, the story will keep you updated on once we learn more.
Listen, I have been to a good number of meetings, city council, school district, planning and zoning, but the meeting I just left in Collin County is probably one of the most interesting. Did you know that Texans pay the 5th highest most insurance premiums in the country? That is staggering. House District Representative Mihaela Pliza held a roundtable today. They had industry experts and also citizens in the audience asking questions about why our premiums are high. Pliza also says that claim denials are also up, which is a combination you don't want to see. I also spoke with Rich Johnson, who is a representative with the Insurance Council of Texas. They represent a lot of insurance firms. He tells me the reason these premiums are up are because look where we live here in North Texas. He says, first, you got to look at the number of hail cases we've got. We've got wind, we've got hurricanes, we've got wildfires, and of course, tornadoes. But he also mentioned one other thing. He says, and I'm going to quote him, we've seen legal costs really spiral out of control with these nuclear lawsuits. He calls this legal abuse. So we polled some of the people who were in that room, in that roundtable. One person said they pay $150 more per month. Another woman said she pays $125 more. Another man said he pays a staggering $300 more per month. And that is the rate of premiums nowadays. State Rep Mihaela Pliza says, look no further than the insurance lobbies. That's where these premiums are going up. On top of that, she says, ask the lawmakers who have created an environment where these premiums can go up and stay up. All right, Mihaela even offered one solution to us. She said, if homeowners actively prepare their homes, they should be offered a rebate. Now, ultimately, the hope is these solutions go from this meeting here in Collin County and get to the floor in Austin. So we'll see how that goes.
DART CEO Nadine Lee just announced she's stepping down. Now, on the surface, that may sound like a leadership change, but this is happening at a really tense moment for DART. For a while now, we've been telling you how the agency has been under pressure over funding, faced backlash from member cities, and had to fight to keep some of those member cities from leaving the agency altogether. Real quick, my name is Janelle Fort, and I'm a journalist based in Dallas. At one point, all 6 of these cities had measures lined up for the May ballot to withdraw from DART. Then in February, the agency cut a deal that got Plano, Irving, and Farmers Branch to pull back. But Addison, Highland Park, and University Park all still have measures to withdraw on their May ballots. And even that deal came with a price. DART now has to return a significant amount of money to its member cities, so the pressure on the agency is far from over. This is what Lee had to say about her departure. Quote, together we navigated one of the most challenging periods in transit history and emerged stronger, more focused, and better positioned to serve our growing region. Right now, it is unclear when Lee's last day will be, but the agency says the search for her replacement begins immediately. And then when you add in the role that DART is supposed to play when the World Cup gets here in just a few months, there is a lot in play here.
North Park Center in Dallas was shut down on Wednesday for more than 3 hours due to a bomb threat, but things are back open and normal now. At first, we saw employees allowed back into the building, then customers were allowed back in as stores reopened. Even an event apparently happening tonight at the mall continues. The movie theater is back open. There was one store clearly that did not reopen, though. Urban Outfitters doors are still closed and their lights are off. Here is what we know about today. Someone called in a bomb threat. Out of an abundance of caution, the mall was evacuated. We're talking all customers, all employees, and not only evacuated into the parking lot, but they had to leave the mall property. Employees waited across the street from before noon to after 3 p.m. Dallas Police Department's explosive team swept and cleared the building. And in situations like this, they have to go through every single store at North Park Mall. And there are a lot of stores here. Some may say it seems excessive, but others say you just can't be too careful these days. The bomb threat was deemed not credible, and everybody is okay.
This just in, TSA employees from DFW Airport and Love Field are being sent to Houston and other airports across the U.S. who are dealing with staffing shortages. Okay, so I just spoke with the local AFGE president. That's the TSA union that represents DFW TSA workers. He told me that because we haven't had any major issues out of DFW Airport and Love Field as TSA workers go without pay, some employees are now being sent to Houston to assist. Now, I'm told it's not dozens. It may not even cap 20 people. It's about 15 people. He had a rough estimate. 15 people that are being sent to Houston because if you've seen those long lines out of Houston, you know they've got a problem. Houston was looking at 4-hour waits yesterday just to get through TSA. TSA union leaders are even warning that if this shutdown continues for much longer, it could start to impact FIFA World Cup travel. Now, this upcoming Friday will mark the third full paycheck that TSA workers have missed. I'll have more on this story tonight at 10 on WFAA.
I am delighted that we can all be together on this special day.
And the person they were most delighted to host at the Dallas Holocaust and Human Rights Museum was Olena Zelenska, the First Lady of Ukraine.
Thank you so much.
Wife of Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky, touring the U.S., campaigning for support in her country's now 4-year-long fight against Russia, and the fight to preserve Ukrainian culture and language. And today, the museum adding Ukrainian to its 90-minute museum audio tour, including the Holodomor exhibit, marking the 1932 Soviet man-made starvation that killed millions of Ukrainians.
Today, like never before in Ukraine, we know that memory matters. When your world is crumbling around you, memory is the only thing that sustains. It preserves the truth, and it is something that should stop the evil from coming back.
It's hard to have family so far from me.
A visit appreciated by student and Ukrainian refugee Vlad Saratov in the crowd in the museum's reflection room.
For Ukrainians to still get educated and at the same time to preserve that part of them where they came from.
Translating their
Mary Pat Higgins is the museum president and CEO.
She wants to preserve Ukrainian culture, and we're very honored to be a part of that project.
The First Lady of Ukraine remarked that she was encouraged American students were visiting the exhibits too, learning now in multiple languages, including Ukrainian, what her country has already endured and is still fighting for today.
And thank you everyone for working together with us on this path to justice. I believe in it. Thank you.
In Dallas, I'm Kevin Reese.
North Texas is home to some of the largest churches in the country, but that doesn't always involve pews and a pulpit. Greg Field shows us how some churches are thinking smaller.
Morning, how are y'all? Church in North Texas is getting smaller, and for some, more personal. Inside this Fort Worth home, Kurt and Ashley Freeman are rethinking what church can look like.
This is really just, I would say, the things that we see healthy churches doing, building community, family, taking communion together, sharing meals together, loving one another.
It has been 1 year since we launched the church. It's called a micro church or a home church. No stage, no rows of pews, just people showing up for each other.
It is really participatory, which is very different than a stage with one guy and a mic, because we come in and we spend 30 minutes praying for one another. And because of that communal element, everybody knows what is going on in each other's lives.
Kurt says this style of gathering isn't new. It actually mirrors how early churches worshiped. And today, they say it also helps push back against something more modern. Loneliness.
The sharing and the openness and community aspect of this fosters that kind of, I know what this person's going through. I know their kids. I know how to pray for them. I know when they're in need. And maybe the Holy Spirit sparks me to want to help them and come alongside them.
That connection extends beyond Sundays into everyday life.
It's not just what happens on Sunday, but it's also, to me, throughout the week. American culture right now lends itself to a lot of individualism and a lot of loneliness. And I think the coolest thing is that this expression of the church, people can be more known.
A smaller setting, helping to build bigger connections. Just ask Ross Reitzhammer, who has been here since the very beginning.
Keep a log, I guess, of all the things that we're praying for and seeing God work. There's just so many stories that are exciting to see what God's doing in this just tiny, small, little micro community.
For the Freemans, this isn't about replacing traditional churches. It's about rediscovering connection, one living room at a time.
I've been talking a lot lately about the plans for the Dallas North Tollway to be free by 2005 and why that did not happen. However, there is precedent of a tollway becoming a freeway in DFW, and believe it or not everyone thought it was a good idea. I'm talking about the DFW Turnpike, the stretch that we now know as I-30 between Dallas and Fort Worth, called the Tom Landry Expressway. Check out this WFA story from 1976.
Construction on the nearly $60 million turnpike began in the mid-50s with an ambitious plan to link Dallas and Fort Worth by 6 lanes of concrete without traffic lights. By late summer of 1957, the plan had become a reality and the turnpike was open for traffic. The bonds sold to finance the project weren't to be paid off until 1990.
It was paid off in 1977, way ahead of schedule. Now here's something interesting. Not everyone thought that was a good thing.
But more than one turnpike official has expressed concern for that move. It's feared that heavy, though fast-moving traffic now will become a hopeless bumper-to-bumper snarl once the toll booths are finally taken down.
H-E-B the grocery store is finally coming to H-E-B the neighborhood. That is Hearst, Euless, Bedford. And construction is on track to open in mid-2026.
If you're not familiar, Hearst, Euless, and Bedford, or H-E-B, have shared that nickname with H-E-B the grocery store chain for decades. And after several years of waiting, residents in the Hearst, Euless, and Bedford areas are finally getting the grocery store they've been waiting for. The grocer broke ground late last year on a 126,000 square foot store at Cheeksbarger and Rio Grande Boulevard, right on the Euless-Bedford border near Glade Parks. It's expected to open in the second half of this year with a full-service pharmacy, a true Texas barbecue with drive-thru, curbside pickup, home delivery, and a fuel station with a car wash. H-E-B bought this property in 2015, so Mid-City's residents have been waiting a long time. Bedford and Euless even split the sales tax revenue 50-50. It'll be H-E-B's third store in Tarrant County.
By the end of this year, you might be grabbing tortillas and brisket without leaving your own zip code. I'm Chris Gallego, WFAA.
Dickies Arena will be the center of March Madness this weekend as 2 Final Four teams will emerge, and I got your breakdown. The Sweet 16 tips off on Friday with Notre Dame versus Vanderbilt and UConn versus North Carolina. 2 of those teams will be sent home Friday night. Now that second matchup, AZ Fudd UConn versus North Carolina, that's blue blood versus blue blood. So expect stars, pressure, and at least one powerhouse going home early. And the madness keeps on rolling into Saturday because you'll have Texas versus Kentucky and Louisville versus Michigan. Now, if you've been watching, Texas has been playing with a lot of momentum and Kentucky is just trying to prove that they belong. Now, in my opinion, that Louisville versus Michigan game is going to be the most unpredictable this weekend. So by the end of Saturday, the Elite 8 will be locked in. Then on Sunday, that's when things get real because it's one game. If you win, you go to the Final Four. If you lose, your season is over. So the question this weekend is, are we about to get all top seeds, or is Fort Worth about to deliver another March Madness upset? Let me know who you got going to the Final Four. Drop them in the comments.
The sweet sound of spring. Here at the Tribute Golf Links, this sweet swing,
he's pretty cool under the hood,
belongs to Steven Sanders.
He's a fearless competitor.
It's like, I want to beat you, but when it's over, ha 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 ha.
The 11-year-old from Grand Prairie is golf obsessed.
His standards of excellence is really high.
His favorite golfer is Dallas native and 2-time Masters champ Scottie Scheffler.
His stardom confirmed.
As Scotty prepares for Augusta National, so does Steven.
And now he's going to go to Augusta and he's going to get to hit 6 shots.
You see, Steven will compete in this year's Drive, Chip, and Putt Finals from the home of the Masters.
He's going to have just the coolest week of his life.
It's the culmination of a dream that was born 4 years ago with his father.
I was coming back from my first tournament. I told my dad, I was like, I want to go to that place. He's like, that's Augusta National. I know you can go there one day. And it's how much my dad believes in me. And my mom, she came over and she was like, you're going to make it. 4 years later, I'm going.
Have a lot of fun. I'm super excited for you. I'm really proud of you.
But make no mistake, Steven has his eyes on the prize.
I want to win. I want to do more than just go there and throw a party that I made to Augusta. I want to go there, win, and then after, throw a party.
Steven aspires to be a PGA Tour pro.
See it, do it.
He said his backup plan is brain surgeon because he's good with his hands.
Really good, bud.
I have a couple questions. You know the...
Judging by his interview skills with his mom,
Do you love him?
Oh, I love him so much.
he may have a third career option too.
Well, that's all we have today.
I guess you could say the kid's a natural.
Nice swing.
In the Colony, I'm Jonah Javad.
And finally, it's bluebonnet season in North Texas. And if you plan to take some photos this weekend, we'll leave you with some tips on getting that perfect shot.